Hello there. As you already know who it is, I am Zach Lane, aka Judge Zed, aka Zacharias the Pious of House Lane, first of his name, former Lord of Givashidashir, Harbinger of Sass, and Holy Prince of the Sea of Ash, and Lord of the Game. And today, as well as many other days, that game is going to be the only game whose maze craze plays for days in ways that will amaze days and set characters ablaze. Dungeon Crawl Classics. Now, I've been playing DCC for probably close to 4 years now, and it is the best role-playing game for sword and sorcery, fantasy, adventures, as well as many other, honestly, just many other genres that really nails on the head. There's some post-apocalyptic zines out there that really just capture to me the essence of what post-apocalyptia can be. And then DCC, the guys at Goodman also put out Mutant Crawl Classics, which is on the other end of that spectrum. So wherever you stand in your post-apocalyptic fantasy action, they got you covered with this system. It's a beautiful thing. But today I want to talk about the Spawn of Cyclops Con, the game convention that took place over this last weekend. It was incredible. It was one of the coolest... It was the coolest convention I could have ever hoped to have attended from my living room, from the living room here. You know, it was incredible. It was absolutely, if you weren't watching on the stream, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I didn't post any videos of it. It was on a website called gather.town, so it was basically like Habbo Hotel, but when you get close to somebody, their webcam pops up, and when you walk away from them, it slowly starts to fade away, both visually and audibly. Same with when you're walking up to them. And it's that on a mass scale, with 30 to 40 people all in the convention hall walking around. There's dealers at the booths. They're selling stuff to you. They're talking about their product. There's a secret dungeon you can get to once you finish this crazy scavenger hunt. And to finish the scavenger hunt, you got to go to all the booths and explore this crazy Doug Kovacs painted map, which is the same art style as behind me right now. Wow. I didn't even run a game in this con. I didn't even play in a game in this con. And I had some of the best con memories, of the last 2 years so far. I'm without words for how I'm very grateful to Goodman Games for discovering this and for running with this and for making this happen, for making this a reality. It was right on time, exactly when it was needed the most. This con happened, and so I want to give some feedback, and I know that this is a feedback video that is cutting in line in front of my Project Triangle Strategy feedback video, but Square Enix can wait. Goodman Games lies much closer to my heart, and that's just as a fan of RPGs. I know that I hear a lot of JRPG fans screaming in the background, but that's okay. Masterpiece after masterpiece, and this con was no exception. I think I have a list of things that work. Okay, so things that work. Secret areas, like I mentioned before. There were secret places you could go in this convention. You could clip out of bounds. You could hang out on the sides of cliffs. You could go into secret rooms. There was a road crew lounge that wasn't a secret. You got a password to get in, but it was cool. It was a very cool place, and I wish that the next one wasn't so far away. You know, I wish it's Empire of the Cyclops Con is gonna happen in September, they announced, and I'm already scheduling that weekend off, and I'm gonna run an absolute buttload of games, and we're gonna stream every single one of them. So get ready for that. But the secret areas, this is something that worked. The secret area in general was, and I can totally talk about it now. It was the Tomb of Horrors. Once you beat this little scavenger hunt, which I gotta say that's something else that worked. A scavenger hunt that makes you go to all the booths and talk to all the people manning the booths. That was genius. That was absolutely. I talked to so many people on my first run through, and then I did wait till after hours to go through and find the rest of them. But like, it really did. It made me come out of my shell a bit and made me interact with this unfamiliar UI that was Gather Town, and it was a great way to draw me in to the heart of the convention, where I started running into people who were all doing some weird things out of bounds, and we would talk about how they got out of bounds. We were all collaborating and figuring out together how to get into that next secret area, which was the Tomb of Horrors. And it was the Tomb of Horrors all laid out, except all of the traps were invisible. And if you stepped on one of the squares that was marked as a trap in the map for the original Tomb of Horrors dungeon, you were immediately teleported all the way back to the very beginning of the convention hall. Which, you know, it sucked at first, but there was like a broken down wall in one of the early booths that I didn't notice before, but you could actually like walk down past that broken wall, down up like this crazy ravine that would get you back into that secret area much quicker, for those people who kept cycling back into the Tomb of Horrors over and over and over again. Within that Tomb of Horrors, and within another secret area based on the Portal Under the Stars adventure, which I actually just run here on my YouTube channel, had a sticker in it, like a free sticker you could order from their website that said, "I found the secret door at Spawn of Cyclops Con." Incredible. Incredible stuff, right? Well, then you go through the Tomb of Horrors and you find that, like, secret treasure room that's, like, super, super secret. Behind all the secrets, there's that one treasure room. There's a different sticker that says, "I found the real secret door at Spawn of Cyclops Con," and only, like, 38 people got it, including myself. I did help a few people find it who were looking for it, but there were a couple people who were, like, desperately looking for it, with their microphone and camera turned off so that nobody could try to talk to them. And I was very I tried to tell them how to get into it, but they were just like, "No, we're gonna keep combing over the convention floor, just bumping into everything looking for secret doors." I was like, all right, you can't, I guess you can't hear me, whatever, enjoy. Enjoy. So secret areas worked amazing. Booth-based scavenger hunt worked amazing. Booths worked incredible. At first, I was a little underwhelmed by the fact that it just took me to a link to a store, but then I started running into like different booths that weren't like an online storefront, basically, that, you know, I would be able to go to even if I wasn't at a con like this. But then I was noticing some of them had like special con weekend deals. Some of them were not websites at all, but like a Google Doc that was just like made by like an artist who got a booth at this con, probably because it's, I would imagine, a lot more affordable than a Gen Con booth. And so you saw a lot more of the third party product people showing up with their like, "Hey, here's a book I wrote. It's got like 15 new classes and like all this cool shit." And I'm like, "Oh wow, how much is the PDF? I bet it's like 30, 40 bucks." He's like, "It's $10." I'm like, it's sold is what it is. I've already purchased it. I don't even know when I'll get to running it, but it sounds amazing. Shout out to Starcrawl Classics, the Tuesday Night Fiend Club. Put together a very good elevator pitch that ended with that $10 price tag. I was like, yes! Oh, yes! Absolutely. So all of that stuff worked really, really well. Meeting and chatting with people, and the artist gallery. So I think those two kind of go hand in hand. As I mentioned earlier, like being able to see the different artists and meet them and talk to them while they draw, just like you would get to do in the real artist alley at a convention, was, I mean, that's just nothing really compares to that experience at a virtual convention. Like, you can't, this weekend couldn't have been beat by just about any other online experience. There just isn't an online experience that was gonna have any kind of impact on me like this had, other than this con, the way this con was put on. It really did remind me of Habbo Hotel in a weird way, but like a cooler, more adult way. I'm not like 11 years old on the internet anymore, but like I'm using the same basic setup to go to conventions, which actually makes a lot of sense. Um, so I do want to talk about a couple of things that didn't exactly work for me. The arcade, there was an arcade there, which I always thought was cool. I always think it's interesting when there's an arcade at a tabletop gaming convention because the two hobbies kind of go very close hand in hand. Like in most uh, friendly local game stores I go to, they have an arcade machine, especially out here where I live. Um, that being said, the one at Gen Con's run by Billy Mitchell, and I'm not going to give him any money and whatever. Moving on beyond that, I just don't get it exactly. Like, why you'd put one in a tabletop gaming convention, especially like an online one. It was really cool to see that there were like games that I could play like if I wanted to, but I couldn't like watch someone else play. Or it wasn't the full experience really. It was kind of like I was like, oh, this is kind of neat, but I felt like that should have been relegated to like a different area. But that being said, like what different area would you put an arcade in? Well, there was some more arcade cabinets and tables and stuff in the private road crew area. But I have to say that the private road crew area was something that I felt did not work. Um Unfortunately, I went in there. I only ever met one person in there. I went in there multiple times, got my password, got in, and I understand how it was like meant to be utilized, where road crew members were kind of meant to like headhunt the con floor and bring people into the road crew lounge to run private games because there were private rooms there, and I think that as cool as that is, it were better served having that readily available to all con attendees. Even if it took having another level to the con that is like the open gaming hall and then like a bunch of like private table areas, maybe with like the area a little bit larger so that you can have the people sitting directly around the table playing the game, and then maybe people a little bit further on the outside, um, watching or listening. Uh, it's there's different ways. There's different ways it could be utilized. I thought it was a little underutilized due to the password protection on that open gaming area because they had copy of like Set and you could play Catan and like all this other stuff. Like it would have been very interesting to see what people would have done had they had more access to a space like that. Now that being said, those are just the two things I just thought, didn't necessarily work. In a sea of everything working, and it was all, we all understood it was the first iteration. We were all so understanding of any, like, limitations, but we were all blown away by what was being accomplished actively, and I can't wait until the next iteration when it's even better than before. So things that we need, according to me, things that I thought would be cool, and maybe like helpful or at least a little interesting. Panel viewing rooms, I thought would be really cool. I know that all of the panels were on Twitch, but even like a room with just a screen with the Twitch uh, link to it that we can all sit in there and watch and have a conversation while we're watching the panel, uh, about the panel at the same time. Maybe even having an intermediary person. I think Thor or Thorin is the person who runs the Goodman Games Discord. Maybe have him in the Twitch viewing room so that people in that Twitch room can ask questions of the panelists. Depending, I don't know how the behind the scenes stuff works at all. I can only like guess, but I think it would be really cool. I think it would be really cool if we could all like get together and have like a room to watch a panel or even hold a panel in a room within the convention hall, the virtual convention hall. A fun idea. I thought like a food court would be kind of fun with just like I know that there were some ads hidden within the dungeon to like a food bank that was being supported by the convention. But I think that like having a food court with a link to that food bank, maybe some other charities, maybe like a link to Domino's so we could like order a pizza or something, just like and maybe even like some communal eating tables, some social eating tables to even further give that feeling of being at a con. Like it's all the feelings of being at a con without like the bad con food. You know, you get to order your own local food that you like, or just make food at home and eat healthy or whatever. And but you get to do it around other people at the con who are also like eating, taking a break, taking a sit down, and just chit chat with them, see what's going on. I think that just allowing any other additional areas that allow for more schmoozing would be very well very welcome. And along with the open gaming hall, I thought just a way to watch or sit in on games that are going on would be really cool, other than the Twitch. And that kind of goes along with the Twitch watch room. Like have a room where you go to communally watch the Twitch stream with other people in that room. I think that would be really, really cool. And the open table gaming hall was the only other thing that. Oh, and yeah, this is a note that I took during the con. Literally just more secret areas slash fast travel sewer systems, more verisimilitude and story behind the con location. I'd love to have a con inside a hollowed out version of the Emerald Enchanted Citadel. I had a lot of people say they would love to have a con inside of the sailors under the sailors on the Starless Sea citadel, that old keep that you have to explore. And even there was an area from Portal Under the Stars hidden within the convention, but I think that more Goodman Games modules being explored as convention hall settings, and like more storyline behind the convention hall, and maybe like more interwoven stories in general. I am honestly, and like, you know, this kind of is my segue into Gather Town. I think Gather Town is amazing. I think Gather Town is one of the coolest online experiences I've had. Zoom. I'm about to do a Zoom thing later in the night. I won't be streaming it though because it's like a medical thing. But yeah, Zoom's fine. Zoom's whatever. But like, yeah, this is the real way to do meeting people in a group and having a conversation. I gotta take my glasses off because the screen. I'm getting a lot of green. Getting a lot of green on my glasses. Maybe if I did that. I guess I turned the whatever. I don't know. Hopefully you can see how sincere I am being right now. I'm genuinely considered. So apparently GatherTown is free, as long as you cap the number of people in your location at 25. And so I'm considering opening up my own little GatherTown tavern for people who are in role-playing games that I run, and just having my like Knights of the Old School tavern. And so I'm debating a couple different things. Potentially, the tavern will be within a different location in the Knights of the Old School, and there's like a hall or something where we can pay homage to our dead characters and our fallen. I think that would be really cool. A really cool thing to do for the players. But just, it's 25. It's just 25 cap. It's either that, or it's going to be a combination of that and Kazuhara's Space Time Tavern, which is the tavern that I've been dropping into my Lonkmar game that helps my players get from Old Ning's caves to other planier locations and other dimensions. Basically, it's like a dimensional hopping tavern. It's the in between worlds. Is what the TV tropes page would describe it. So I am definitely considering doing that. If Goodman Games doesn't step up and open up their own road crew, like permanent road crew tavern, I'm going to open up my own for the small group of people that I run my games for on GatherTown, and just try to get them all involved and try to get them in there. And we'll maybe do like a happy hour once or twice a week or something, and I would definitely open it up to other people. But for the most part, it would just be for people who watch my streams and enjoy my streams, and who are involved with DCC and stuff. It would basically be like a DCC role playing game themed tavern that we could hang out at. Maybe even have a designated like live stream happy hour that goes on once or twice a week. I think that would be really cool, just to get to interact with people more and to get just better acquainted with the people I play games with. I think that would be really neat, and I think that people watching at home would also be interested in that as well. So yeah, I mean, just keep on the lookout for that. I'm gonna continue to be brainstorming what I can do and getting together with people and growing my various games. I am looking at expanding to 3 games going, which will all be recorded and put up on YouTube. I currently have my Black Marsh campaign with my first party. This is all DCC. I'm sorry. This is all Dungeon Crawl Classics stuff. And I think because I'm running it on Twitch, it's all Road Crew games as well. I've got the Olsolva Bauchicha Adventures in Lonkmar game, which we just started the Swords Against Darkness series, which I'm very excited about moving ahead with. And I'm gonna add another group to the to the Black Marsh Sandbox campaign. And I might as well say this here because this is such a weird throwaway thing. I'm also really considering. I'm really, really strongly considering, and it's such a strong consideration. It's almost become my own headcanon that Lonkmar is across the ocean from Blackmarsh. And to me, it makes sense. Like, all of Nehuan is across the ocean from Blackmarsh, because in Blackmarsh, I'm going to have the city of Punjar. And I've decided I'm not going to just use the... Oh, I might, though. No. It's so tough. It's so difficult to make these... It's tough calls. You have to make tough calls, but I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do Punjar. But Punjar is in Blackmarsh. South of Blackmarsh. South of the Southlands. Part of the Grand Empire. The seat of the Grand Empire. And, excuse me. Yeah, I'm looking forward to incorporating some more of this elements and this opposite municipality to Lonkmar that's across a great ocean, and we'll explore a little more of that as things grow. But I want to add another party to Blackmarsh, and if I do that, I might as well add another party to Lonkmar too. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. My head is swimming with ideas. I wanted to share my thoughts on Spawn of Cyclops Con, though, in case anybody from Goodman is watching. I loved it. I hope you loved it too. I hope you've loved listening to me gush about how much I love DCC and Goodman Games and this con that took place this weekend. As always, I've been Zacharias the Pious of House Lane, first of his name, former Lord of Give a Shit, Ashir, Harbinger of Sass, and Holy Prince of the Sea of Ash, and Lord of the Game. Have yourself a great week at the table, folks. I'll see you next time.